America, we're making a pan pizza. I feel like crap. Sorry. I try to lay down and just not having a great day. But hey, it's a DMX said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, brothers. Right? Look at all them apples. I gotta make that pies and applesauce or something. I might do that tonight. It's 12 o'clock. I tried laying down. Oh, you know how I do it. So we're gonna do some sausage. Cook that up in the pan. And then the little onions. It's got a little thyme in there. And a little granulated garlic. Then I'm gonna throw the sauce on top of that. And we're just doing a little pan pizza. This is only a cup and a half. Eighth cup of yeast. The yeast I use is the stuff from Winco. It comes in a big block, so it acts different than the stuff in the jar. The stuff in the jar is more powerful. This is my pink salt. This is my Parmesan. And yeah, I don't have vanilla. I should be putting vanilla in right now, but because I don't have vanilla, we're gonna go garlic. And then this is Stepina's years ago. They had this recipe with the vanilla, and then they went and they added a whole bunch of herbs, and it really took over the flavor of the pizza. But what I'm gonna do here is not add a whole bunch, but I am going to add just a little bit of thyme, okay, to the dough, right? I want to grind it pretty well, okay. And then we're going to put a hair of basil flakes in there, just a hair, okay. And then I'm going to heat it up. A dash of smoked hot paprika. Okay. And then we're going to add our water to that and make the dough. I'll let you guys watch that this time. It's going to be a small dough. I got extra time on the thing. I deleted a bunch of stuff. Alright, that's not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Alright, you feel the water, make sure it's like just below hand temperature. Right up, like, if it feels a hair warm, that's 110. 105. And when you add it to all this product, it becomes right at 99 degrees, which is perfect for the growing of yeast. Also, we're going to add a little dash of sugar. I always do because yeast likes sugar. You can add different flavors. You can add... yeast also loves to eat something called pentosin, which is in fava beans. It's also in other types of beans. Notice I'm mixing on my dry before I put my wet in. Okay. It's also in like flaxseed and sunflower seed, types of proteins that the yeast really like to eat. And what that does is gives you a better overall product. Just more, you know, the more the yeast eats, the more the yeast is healthy, the more the yeast becomes an edible. I mean, it's as plain and simple as this. Okay, yeast is a single celled organism. It's a very small organism, right? All right, so let's take a big one. Let's take a chicken. Let's feed this chicken. Let him be a free-range chicken, and let's give him some special feed that's made out of molasses and corn and wheat and rice and just all the good stuff, because we want this chicken to be eating bugs out back and pecking around in the grass and just all sorts of good stuff for our chicken. All right. Well, same thing with the yeast. All right. Because that chicken, when you eat it, is going to be really healthy. It's going to have no hormones. It's going to have no... You know what I mean? So that's where I'm coming from. This looks kind of small now, but once it grows a little bit. Yeah, turn around. That's done. I gotta drain it. It's got a little wetter than I wanted. That's alright because have flour will make happen. And then we're gonna knead this. And remember, wash your bowls on cold. This thing's kind of full right now. I use a brush too, I don't use a sponge. That's something I learned back at Baltimore International College. Wash your baking stuff on cold and use a sponge. We had big brushes back then. Or use a brush, yeah. And we had real big ones back then. We had real big equipment. Baltimore International College was a whole bunch of buildings with some of it. We had these like old stoves where like they'd have a ring in the center, and then the burner would come up, and you'd have the plate on top, and then the whole rest of the stove was a plate, and it's like big, right? And then it was, what class was that? Soup, stocks, and sauces, I think, or something like that. Anyway, someplace where we were like, we had to have water hot, fast. We had to have our pans hot, right? So the first thing that we did, we'd run into the class and we'd throw pots onto the thing to heat them up, just because the thing took that long to heat anything up. I mean, I swear to you, if you put cold water on this thing and just left it on the side, it would take an hour to boil. It's just bad. If you like started when you were supposed to start the lab with the class, no man, you had to come in there extra early and be like messing with this stove top because it was crazy. But if you read in Escoffier's book, he talks about when he's making soups and sauces about setting back then they had ring fire stoves and like, you know, the big cast iron stuff and stuff like that, but they also have fire pits working with coals. And he talks about making sauces and stocks you gotta run for, you know, 6-8 hours. A glace de viande makes yes, somebody was like, I didn't see any sauce that takes a week. Well, it takes a week to make it, man. It's called the elixir of sauce, glace de viande. Elixir of the beef. It's a beef reduction. It takes a long time to get a good beef reduction in the first place because the bones are so big. Anyways, so that's our little pizza right there. And what I'm doing is since it's a sticky dough and I don't like leaving a mess behind, I use it to clean the deck, because the deck was clean already and all I did was put flour on it. Alright, and since this one's so small, I don't need to have one of my big special pots to proof it. I already put one of my big special bowls to proof it. Man, I just had a way. Alright. Drain the fat off this. Whoa. Eat the sausage. Hey, yeah, it didn't go in the soup. Please. Just oil. Alright. You can always cheat. Take a little bit more oil out. Like this. And there's our pasta sauce that we had. Bam, just threw that in there like that. That's going to be our filling. And then, that's right, I'm going to try to do a nicoboli soon too. I could do it with this, but I think I'm just going to do a quick pizza. Hey America. I think sometimes We gotta fuss and fight too much. Right, Rabbit? Why's everybody hating everybody so much? Right, Rabbit?
Yeah, man. Just be cool, everybody. Stop with all the racial and the hate and the screaming and the yelling and over this and over that. And give respect, man. Love.
You gotta have some